With all the craziness in this world, we are here to have open and honest conversations to help navigate our thoughts.
Sometimes we are right and sometimes we're wrong. But in the end, if we aren't learning, we aren't living.
This is Philip.
And this is Wes.
And we are
Two Bottles Deep.
Hello, Wes.
What if I started every show saluting you?
That would be a little odd.
Wouldn't it be odd?
A little odd.
So. We're British the whole time.
Oh, gosh.
Hey, I will tell you what. We got a new review.
Oh, my gosh.
From a Mimosa Mary down in somewhere where they live.
Oh, so tell everybody what Mimosa Mary is.
Okay,
That's not an unknown.
Right. Our buddy Jason Capps has been on the show a few times, and he came from Birmingham where they had a brunch group and they named themselves the Mimosa Marys.
Because they like to drink.
Yes. And I'm like, oh, Bloody Marys. But I think they do mimosas because it's in the name. So, but anyway.
Wow, the way you figured that out was just, you should be a detective.
A year of research.
Yeah.
And it says, here I'm going to quote this.
Okay.
And I quote, "It's not gin and regret I smell, Beverly Leslie. It's just a delightful conversational way of discussing the day-to-day of a gay and a gay." Okay.
Oh, I love that.
That's like us, a gay and a gay.
Yeah, got it.
Blame Jason Capps and being a Mimosa Mary OG for me subscribing and leaving a corny review. Enjoying the chat while I'm winding down with my nighttime routine. You know, an ADHD gay shan't be left with his own thoughts for too long, or he'll have a scary and tiring yet unproductive night. Anyway, thanks for doing what you do in a positive, fun way. And that's from Clay, the intern.
Clay. First of all, Clay, how long did this take you to write? It's very involved. And also, do you think Clay says shan't a lot?
Shan't. I love saying wilt. I will not. Wilt. So
that's not a, I've never, shan't is acceptable. Wilt.
Shan't sounds
Did
dirty.
you say will not? Wilt?
I won't go.
Uh-uh.
That's like do not, don't.
No.
Will not, won't.
So, that's a Clay. No for me, dog. Clay, thank you for that. And the Mimosa Marys, thank you for listening. We need to go down there and do a Mimosa Mary Day.
Jason's going to have to fly in wherever he's
I could do it without her. She's dead to me.
Jason.
Well, Wes, what have you been up to, babe?
Funny enough, I leave tomorrow morning to go see Jason.
That is hysterical.
Why aren't you laughing then?
Oh, sorry.
Can we have the laugh button?
Oh yeah. Oh no, it's all.
Oh,
it's all other stuff now. You don't want that button.
No, I'm going to Austin for a charity event called Unite the Fight.
Unite the Fight.
Yes,
and that is to fight against
something. Anyway, we
Hold
bought.
On. You don't know what the charity is?
No, I know what the event is. I don't know what it's for.
What if it's like promoting like human trafficking?
No, I know it's something good. My friend Monica.
What is it? Well, what is it?
Phil's in it. Phil and Travis.
But you don't know the charity.
You're no clue. I love charity events, but it's good. I think they donate to LGBTQ youth that are homeless.
Okay,
so that's I'm going to go with that. Good answer.
Good answer.
Number one on the board.
Yes, good answer.
So anyway, here's the fun thing, Phil. It is a drag show.
Oh, you're in it.
I wish I would do it for charity. I've always said that. So my buddy Phil, 6'3", Latino dude, just ripped, right? Anyway, he's going to be in drag because the caveat in this drag show is you can never have done drag before. So you get paired with a professional drag queen. Yeah, you can never have done it on stage. So it's to raise money. So we all bought like tickets to his table, and then he sends out links, and you're judged a few ways. Your performance, I think he does 3 numbers.
Okay.
And then how much money you raise. So I think there's 8 contestants. They're paired with a drag queen, very similar to maybe if they were on Dancing with the Stars. You're going to be with a professional.
Oh, fun.
And so he is in the suit, the costumes, the dresses,
drag king,
heels, whatever he does. So I'm excited to see it. There's about 2,000 people that go to this event at the Fairmont Ballroom, and it'll be good to see Austin buddies. And
it's a dinner too.
I don't really know.
Yeah.
If it's
a table, probably
yeah,
probably a good roast chicken with a mashed potato, with a broccoli that's just resting like this.
It's like one piece of broccoli.
But the salads will already be on the table when you get there.
Yes, and they do a new thing where the dressing's under the salad. So everybody sits down. They're like, "Where's the dressing?" And it's under the salad. You gotta, that's kind of a new thing.
Well, that's gonna be fun.
Fancy.
You get to see Jason.
Get to see Jason.
Oh, you get to judge his new place.
Yes, I'm excited.
Does he have a bed, or you sleep on the couch?
Pictures. He's got 2 bed, 2 bath.
But I mean, like, does he have a bed for you to sleep in?
No, it's gonna be a high-end air mattress. He said, because he just moved in.
He owes you.
So he just left us here in Nashville. Yeah. What are you going to be, or what have you been doing? What are you going to be doing this weekend?
I went to see one of the coolest shows I've seen in a long time at the Schermerhorn. I realized I was pronouncing it wrong for years until I heard the announcement. I was saying Schermerhorn.
Like I thought.
They were like, "Ladies and gentlemen of Schermerhorn." I was like, what?
Which is on Demumbrian.
It was the music of Tina Turner. And it was so much fun. I love Tina Turner. Anyway, it was 2 Broadway actresses, 1 Broadway actor. They did everything, but they told her story as they went through it. So talking about, her relationship with Ike, and then how she kind of broke apart from that, and the domestic violence she dealt with, and how each song kind of told a story. But they did everything. Private Dancer, Simply the Best. They did a rendition of Proud Mary.
Were you on your feet?
There, you could pick the gays out. The top level of the boxes. Very 3rd level. I look up. These guys are throwing themselves. Just like, I mean, it was a party.
Yeah. Okay.
It was a great time.
Did you see Mark there? Mark Logston was there.
Yeah, Mark and Pam.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, you saw them.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mark and Pam.
Yes.
Pam was on our show, season 1.
Season 1. 2? Yeah. They were great.
Good.
But I did, at intermission, I decided to get a libation. So I went and was waiting in line for some wine. And Elena and I were standing there. And a older gentleman, I say older, I know for sure, he was 80-something. He's white hair. And he pats me on the shoulder. Now, it is important contextually to know what I was wearing. A glittered midriff. No, I had on, like plaid slacks. I had a pink sweater, and then I had a white jacket over it. And I love scarves.
Yeah.
Some of my scarves are a little flamboyant. Some are a little feminine looking. This one was a floral silk scarf that had some pink in it that matched. I thought I looked adorable. But I do get some comments from time to time, especially if I wear it on Broadway. Guys are like, "Well, hey, didn't know you were gay." So I like the attention. But anyway, so I'm standing in line. The guy taps me on the shoulder, and I turn around, and he said, "I hate to bother you, but is that your girlfriend's scarf?" I said, "No, sir." "Is that your wife's scarf?" I said, "No, sir." He said, "Well, is it your mother's scarf?" I said, "I think you've run out of females in my life at this point, but no, sir, it's not." And he goes, "Huh." At this point, I see Elena kind of bristle up. Like she's ready.
She's going to throw down.
She's ready to
Schermerhorn.
Yeah, he's going to catch her hands. And he takes a breath and he goes, "Well, it reminds me of my dead wife's scarf."
Oh.
And I said, "Huh." I said, "Is that a compliment, or I don't know how to take that?" He said, "No, when you walked in, I saw it and I thought it looks like a lady's scarf." I said, "You've said that multiple times now."
Philip's like, "I'm now getting a double."
Yeah. But at the thing that he said, and then there's going to be a point to this actually. And he said, "I have always wanted to wear that scarf, but I didn't wear it because I thought, even at my age, that somebody would say something because it looks like a woman's scarf. But he's like, I sit in the living room sometimes and I smell it because it still smells like her." And he said, I'm going to go home and I'm going to get that scarf out and I'm going to wear it." And I was like, "Oh, thank you for saying that," because 4 minutes ago, I was ready to fight because you just assume.
Where are you going to, what that context?
The assumption is like he's going to have a problem with a man wearing the scarf. But it was hard for me to focus the first 10 minutes of the second half because I was like, this gentleman, like he went through it all in his head. He came over, he put himself out there, and I reacted the wrong way. I initially was just like ready to go. So lesson learned, give people a chance to like say their story, finish 4 minutes.
Well, but he saw you walk in. So even probably during the first act, that was going on through his head. So think of the difference you made in his life.
I guess I was like, I can't wear this scarf out for a while.
No, you got to
I'm gonna wear
it.
a worse scarf.
Is there a more masculine
No,
scarf?
all of mine are floral and
silk is it is what it is. And I
yeah,
think
it's
we're in a
fun.
time where you can have a non-binary form of dress that's not heteronormative.
Oh, God.
Look at all those words. Dang.
Heteronormative
Wait,
again.
can we say non-binary dressing? Because that's non-binary. If you
What I'm wearing is non-binary.
not today, it's a
No,
hoodie.
but no, I
well,
don't think
that transcends both worlds, you know. Man,
yeah,
male,
I
lesbian.
guess. Well, I guess anything can be non-binary. Shoot, women can wear overalls.
They do.
So
They do.
all
So, yeah.
clothing is non-binary.
And I think at an artsy center like that, you're a little safer than you would be at Tootsie's or anything like that.
Oh, for sure. But I like wearing it out because it does make people. I get looks. I know I like attention, but it's not always positive. And I always assume when a male starts a question that it's going to be negative about something, unless I know they're gay. I'm always like, here we go.
Yeah.
I'm about to get tied to a fence post and beaten.
But it took him a while to get there too, because he was asking the probing questions of whose scarf it was. But now it makes sense because in his life, this scarf was to his wife, who he has lost.
The funniest part to me was just the pause between each question. He couldn't figure it. It's not his girlfriend's.
Right. Has he got a cousin?
Well, wait a minute. What other women can I think of in his life? So anyway, forget his name, but he's a sweetheart.
Well, good. Hopefully he's listening now. Did you give him a little Philip and Wes card?
I didn't. I didn't. I was so stunned that I put the scarf around my head and tied it up like a bonnet.
There you go. Well, I think you made his day. I think now he's at home enjoying.
I realized as I told that story that it sounded a bit self-promoting. I didn't mean it like that. Like I wasn't promoting myself. I really did think it was funny that he couldn't figure out why a man was wearing this.
You know what I took from that story is he's reflecting on that. Now he's going to be confident to wear it, even if it's around his house, because he misses his wife.
What a special, it's such a special thing, like for him
years, I would assume. And now my buddy Philip, who's in his late 70s, lost his wife a few years ago. And I've mentioned him a few times on the show, but when he moved apartments, because he had to move because of the memories, but he's like, Wes, I would not let anybody, the movers, nobody, my kids, nobody touch her clothes. I took them and they're hanging in the closet as she had them. And he will smell them from time to time, even to this day. And it's been 4 years.
It's sweet. I mean, I think if I were in that situation, I'd get rid of 90% of them. So I had more closet space.
More closet
space. I mean,
it took me, when Molly passed away, Molly was my basset hound. It took me probably 6 to 7 months to get rid of her little coat and the water bowl and toys. And I still have her scarf in the ashes box.
Yeah. I mean, that makes total sense.
But it would take a while. But so that's what I took out of your story, Phil, is you made a difference in someone's life and you made him think of something that maybe, he was too masculine, or especially growing up in his day.
Yeah.
He's in his 80s. You grew up then, you're not wearing anything but jeans.
And I just realized I never said the word gay. I never told him I was gay.
And I think
it wasn't needed.
In life we don't need to.
Good on me. Yeah. Anyway, all right, babe. What are you wanting to talk about today?
Let's talk about accountability. And I bring this up because I've been thinking a lot about it. I always have a word of the year. I don't want to get, there's no New Year's resolution. It's more of a word. 1 year. It was
that is your favorite thing to do.
The one you did for me was like walk, breathe.
Wes does one word a year. It's pretty easy, it's just.
But
was accountability your word?
Commitment was like last year, and that was a tough one. And you realize things about yourself when you look at it from bird's eye view. You're like, oh, it's a word. But when you dive into it, like we did with our friend Simona, a few episodes ago, we had Simona on from. Where was she from, Phil? Spain, yes. Malaga, Spain.
Simona Mango.
And she was this life coach, natural healer and soul searcher. And I've really never soul searched. And accountability is one of those words for me that I feel in parts of my life, I had so much accountability. In other parts of my life, it's just non-existent.
What in your mind, what is the definition? What is your definition of accountability?
Accountability, holding yourself accountable.
It is tough to say. It is tough to define it without using the word.
And when you look it up, it's like holding one accountable. Yeah. Well, I want to know what accountable means, Webster, right? So the definition I looked up, it's an obligation or willingness to accept responsibility or to account for your own actions.
Yeah, I think that sums it up nicely. For me, it is a it's like a work in progress, right? You're acknowledging an issue or a mistake. You're taking responsibility for it, but also making changes in your life so that you don't make those again. So for me, it's
Right.
like it's a multi-step process. It's not just like I hold myself accountable, boom, done. It's
You're
like I've
accountable in life.
yeah. And I think I'm much more accountable. I hold people more accountable than I am accountable to myself, which is not good.
Is it okay, like in work or in life?
I think both. I think I hold my employees very accountable, and that is because of the structure and the nature of working in a PT clinic and all that. We have fun, but there's expectations. So
Okay.
I'm holding them accountable. Friends, I hold accountable, but I'm also willing to give a little. I think because I don't hold myself accountable. I will I I will make a plan to start a workout program. I will start a diet. If I could tell you the number of random diets I've started, um,
Mhm.
I'm even to a point now. You asked me to do the hard 75, and I was like, I can't even start that.
Yeah.
Hard 75,
Which
I can't even hold myself accountable for hard one.
to
Like it's
one day.
yeah.
Yeah. Same.
So
I never did it.
I enjoyed thinking about this and reading about it and stuff because it seems we hear it all the time. Just you got to hold them accountable. You got to be more accountable. But that's a process of doing
Yeah.
that.
There's actions. And I saw a quote that it's a destination. It's not like an end all be all. It's not a destination. It's like the form of travel.
Yeah. It is a
And
work in
it makes
it's a work in
sense because
progress.
it never ends. I feel like I hold people like very accountable, but I'm also probably I'm harder on myself than anybody else. So I feel I can because I'm not being hypocritical because I
Mm.
hold myself accountable. So if I hold you accountable for being late, I'm always early. I'm very rarely late. So I will hold you like strongly accountable. I'm not going to hold you accountable to work out because I don't work out.
Oh, I see what
That's
you
not
mean.
as
So you're
important.
saying
So what's
the
important?
things that you hold yourself accountable for, you also hold
I
others.
would fire people for because I'm like,
Yeah.
because to me, Pastor Pete said one time about sinning, you're going to hold people accountable to those sins if it's not hard for you. So alcoholism or
Yeah, 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 yeah.
infidelity or I don't know, whatever the sin is, and I use air quotes on that, we'll hold those people accountable. But if we struggle with alcoholism, I don't hold you accountable for sinning for that. Right.
Mm.
So it's like you hold people accountable for stuff that you hold yourself accountable for and you're good at.
Oh, that
So
makes
like,
sense. And that's probably why I'm not good at personal accountability.
mhm.
Um, it's interesting. So let's talk about work first. So, in the workplace, how does accountability affect your career, your profession, whatever? What
I I think the level of technology that we have now, it's a blessing and a curse, but I look at it in my form of work, it's it's more of a curse because people rely on technology to do everything for them, pay
Mhm.
their rent, do their work orders, communicate with a leasing office, communicate with a real estate firm. Back in the day, we were held accountable. We had to drop a check off or go put it in the mailbox, buy a stamp, put it in the mailbox, mail it off for your mortgage or your rent. But nowadays, we'll have a manager that they have to call the residents, be like, "Oh, your wasn't paid this week," and so many residents will hold the office accountable.
You didn't tell me.
Right, exactly. So number one, you have signed a mortgage, you have signed a lease, you are committing to paying that on the first of every month. No
Mhm.
ifs, ands, or buts. There's no excuses. Get a second job. There's just literally no excuses. Life happens. I'm not saying it doesn't. People lose jobs, people lose spouses. It happens. But the amount of times I've heard when I worked on site that I heard, well, I didn't get an email. Well,
Mhm.
or it was on auto pay. What happened to my auto pay? I don't know. It could have been your bank account. And so many times it's thrown back on us as an employee to manage their finances, which I'm not responsible for. So that kind of upsets me because in a way, we all grew up, most of us grew up writing checks,
Mhm.
right? And there was a lot of effort in that. You had to have envelopes, you had to have stamps.
You had to plan ahead
We
because it
couldn't
took.
order stamps online. You had to go to the post office.
Yeah.
So there's a time, like I say, I'm so old fashioned. I miss that pace of life
Yeah.
because you budgeted to do that. The amount of times someone's told me that they don't have time to log in from an app that takes you 10 seconds to log into to make sure. Yes, it was on auto pay. Yes, it should happen, but mistakes are made by technology.
Sure.
So I mean, I hold people accountable. There's zero waiving of late fees. And I think with the level of accountability, then you're viewed as when you hold people accountable, you're viewed as being very harsh and not being sincere.
Yeah.
And that's just not
Well, in
the
that
truth.
environment too, you have to hold everybody to the same accountability standard.
Right.
Because if they're like, well, Lauren 308, you waived hers. She paid 2 days
Right.
later. We had wine last night. She told me. Like, then they lose confidence in, so you've got to demand the same across the board. Yes, there's emergency situations. I get that.
Mhm.
But from my perspective in the physical therapy world, I am very disheartened by the lack of accountability of patients. And it happens every day. It's examples would be, I'd say 35% of my patients are late. I had to institute a pretty strict late policy, which to me, what if you're late
that's pretty
once,
sad.
if you're late 22 times, what, I'm sorry, huh? And every time there's a reason, what's happening?
It's always an excuse.
Always an excuse.
Yeah.
Or, paying copays. I didn't know I had a copay. Oh, okay. Well, you do. You got one. Well, I don't have the money. Have you done any research on your
Where's the
insurance claim or your insurance that you've got? So to me, I try to hold patients accountable. Oh, another example is their home exercise program. 80-something% of patients do not do. It's
So they
proven 80-something% do not do the home exercises.
So
So you come to me
for a rotator cuff
Yep.
or some pickleball injury. Let's just throw that out there. I come to you. What happens? You give me
I tell you
exercises
exactly
for
what's
home?
wrong with you. I tell
Okay.
you how long it's going to take me to fix it. I tell you exactly what I expect of you. I ask you if you're going to do your exercises. You always say, of course, it's
Yes.
very important to me. I'm in agony. I need this fixed. And then 2 days later, when you return, I say, did you do your exercises? Do you know how busy I am? I have 2 jobs. Okay.
Well,
Do you
your
want
body.
what I want to say is, do you want me to fix it or not? Do you want surgery and be out of work for 6 months? You good with that? Or do you want to listen to what I can tell you to do? So the accountability of people, and I used to think if I just keep doing the same thing over, people will become more accountable. That doesn't work. So you can't make everybody accountable. So that's why I'm working on, I want to be personally accountable. If I can demonstrate it and be responsible and all that, I think maybe it'll help others. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. But you also want to institute it, but we can't teach people, grown adults, to do exercises at home in their free time because they have 10 minutes. At some point between your 18 jobs, you have 10 minutes, and it's also benefiting your health. So if I have a back injury or shoulder injury, I want to do the steps that you give me.
My favorite thing to do is they'll say, I didn't have time to do it. And I said, about 10 minutes later, I'm like, what'd you watch on TV last night? Because I watched The Bachelor. They'll be like, oh, I watched such and such. Yeah, so you had time.
you
had 1 hour.
You trapped him.
1 hour. But anyway.
Yeah, but it's also like we want to teach people. Like we have apartment communities and high rises, and there's no parking signs, there's gates, there's rules, right? And there's maybe personal responsibility goes with accountability.
Yeah,
maybe
I think they
a little
overlap.
bit.
Yeah.
Like there's so many times where they'll come in. It's like, well, yeah, there's a boot on my car. There was no other place to park, so I had to park in the handicap spot. No, like it was not close to the door.
Yeah,
which
you might have had to go up to the next level.
To the next level. I can't go all that way. I mean, it takes an extra 2 minutes to get out of the garage.
I have plantar fasciitis in both feet.
What is plantar fasciitis?
Foot pain. Everyone tells me that.
Okay.
Oh, I can't do that. I have plantar fasciitis.
Then you're not going to walk ever.
Then yeah, you can get a wheelchair.
But yeah, it's like it's a personal responsibility, and I hold people really accountable. And maybe some of our fitness friends would look down on me because I'm not that big into fitness. So I'm like, I wonder if they're like, God, he is not accountable. Like I would be with someone who's habitually late when I'm never late. I'm like, God, I would not hire a person if they're always late. You can't have that. It's such a simple thing to be on time, even in a city with bad traffic. Because again, like excuses.
Yeah.
I mean, my saying is you can make money and you can make excuses, but you can't make both. Like I will not give you an excuse. I'm late. Yeah, there was a train, I got stuck, whatever. It's like I didn't leave early enough.
Yeah.
It is on me. And that's where I'm like really hard on myself to keep myself accountable.
I think, and it's as we talk about personal accountability, the biggest thing is for me is like you got to be aware. You have to be aware that there's an issue. There's so many people that you can't be accountable if you don't know what the situation, what the problem is. So for
Yeah.
me, um, the most obvious one is like working out. I'll set a plan up, and I know exactly what to do because it's my profession. I know which muscles to work. I know how long to stretch. I know this. I know that. Should be
Mhm.
pretty easy for me to do that. But driving home from work in the 22 to 35 minutes, I can come up with 27 reasons, and I'm okay with it. I
Yeah,
don't
we
there's
justify it.
no moment that I'm get home and I'm like, "Oh, Philip, little weakling,"
Dude,
And
yeah.
so, number one, being aware that the importance of working out, not just for physical fitness, but mental health, emotional health, but it also getting on a routine for me gives me peace. Like knowing that I have yoga Tuesday and Thursday night, and then I know I'm going to get that. And then if I don't go, it doesn't help me. I may make myself think that I'm okay. Like, oh, I
Right.
didn't miss much. But like what I get out of that class is so important.
Yeah.
But so being self aware for me is a challenge
Yeah.
sometimes.
Do you ever talking about helping like our clients, right? Or our customers. I always try to help employees, especially accountability. I love doing budgets. I mean, we're in budget season at work right now, and I'm like geeking out over like the software and the Excel spreadsheets because I like to see the end result. And you're kind of putting all these numbers in for a funnel, right? You
Hmm.
kind of want to see where it's going to like dial down to at the end of the year, and hoping your guessing is right. But I love helping people, and I'd rather help other people than before I help myself. So
Hmm.
if you would have called and I had a boxing class tonight, and you're like, hey, I need help with this, I would have given up that boxing class to be here. Where that's a good thing for a friend, that's really a bad thing for yourself because I'm
Right.
not holding myself accountable to go work out
Well, you're
and to get
prioritizing
fit.
somebody else over
That's it.
yourself.
And that's easy to do because then I don't have to worry about working out. And you know what's funny? I love breaking a sweat, but then I don't like going there. It's so mentally hard. I've always like been the short, chubby kid. Like I've never gotten out of that because I'm like, I just never liked working out. It was never my thing. I'll walk and I'll hike for, I don't know, 5 hours a day. I love it. But that's not the workout like my metabolism or my body
Right.
needs to lose the weight and to feel that sense of accomplishment.
So what keeps you from doing the things like you are really good about walking
Yeah,
and
I
hiking
love
and
being
all.
out.
You love that.
Mhm.
But what keeps you from being accountable for the gym or whatever that workout is, whether it's kickboxing or
I'm gonna be pretty vulnerable here, but I don't like to be seen there. I don't feel like I belong there.
you don't like the way you
There's a
look
gym
there
you
or
correct. I
okay.
don't feel as confident. There I mean, there's times where I've not gone to places, whether it's with y'all or pickleball or something, where I was just having a bad day, and I'm like, I just don't feel
Mm,
everybody's so fit in this town. And Austin, it was the same way. I'm sure DC for you is the same way. It's so like
mhm.
when you're around all these really fit people, my 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 anxiety goes up because I have not held myself accountable for
Yes.
literally 1 hour a day. I could shut my phone off and be on a I don't know, Smith machine and not cowbells,
Kettlebells.
kettlebells.
Yeah.
The cowbell.
Hand me that cowbell, the 10-pound cowbell.
Or going to a boxing class 45 minutes and stuff like that. I always, like you, I will find 27 reasons in 27 minutes to not go because I just don't feel like I fit there. And I know that's self-imposed, but that's
Is
my
it
answer.
different, like at a or an amenity, a place you live? Is it different? Like if you go to like Gold's Gym or Planet Fitness versus like I'll just run down and get my workout in. Do you feel differently there?
No, I still
Oh,
won't.
you still feel the same.
I still feel the same.
So it doesn't matter
Still
where it
feel the same.
is. It's a gym.
Like I feel if I was fit and happy where I want to be, because I know where I want to be, then I would be unstoppable. But it's just my goal, like this month, heading into November and the holidays, is not waiting till January. I want to lose the weight before the holidays. So I don't mind if I have a cookie then, right? I don't want to wait. I want to start holding myself accountable. And it's important to know day by day. So if I was working with an employee and they were always late, there's a step process there. It's not an immediate fire. It's hey, what is it? I just mentally can't get to bed at night, or it's hard getting up, or do you not like coming to this job? Let's figure out a job that you like within this company so you're excited to go to it. So that's my plan when I help people do that, to do it for myself. And I don't know how many people out there listening can relate to that. I'm assuming we all have something that we're really good at holding ourselves accountable. And then there's a few things in our own world that we're not.
Oh, sure. I was trying to think of the things that keep me from being accountable. I wrote down 3 of my mistakes.
Oh, yeah.
One is not having a backup plan. Only having one plan. So, for example, I'm going to work out at 7 p.m. Well, I'm in traffic and it's a little later and I realize I can't get to the gym by 7. So in my mind, I'm like, I can't make it by 7. I mean, I might as well eat.
Heaven forbid.
I might as well get a pizza
for 15. Yeah.
So the backup plan, having a backup plan for stuff. So I don't know how that applies in like a professional setting in terms of what I talked about earlier. But for me, like making sure that I have not only the plan for what I'm going to do, but also in case it doesn't work out, I've given myself a little leeway. Number 2, not tracking my progress. That's so much evidence in that. Even with my job, like having patients track their exercises and all that, that is holding them accountable.
It's like writing down what you did, tracking, kind of like journaling. Did 3 sets of 8 setups.
So if I did a diet plan or something, it's like I track what I ate, what I eat, what I didn't eat, what I didn't want, what I should have eaten, that kind of stuff, and just keeping that going because that is constant reminders for what I'm supposed to be doing. And the third is procrastinating. I am on time everywhere. I've never thought I was a procrastinator, but when it comes to things like diet, exercise, sometimes even sometimes therapy, I'm just like, I know I should go, but I've got so much going on tonight on the couch.
The Golden Bachelor is on.
So those 3 for me are like the things that I got to work on, not tracking my progress, only having one plan and procrastinating. And fixing those 3 would make me much more accountable.
There's studies on it. And when I was like diving into when I wanted to start studying accountability, in my mind, I'm like, I'm going to be like a Brene Brown and have this YouTube talk. And then I started looking at accountability and it could go 900 million different ways.
Kind of workplace stuff.
Sure. A lot of workplace accountability. And that's kind of sad with our society because that's all we think about is work. So where's our personal accountability of reaching out to family members and holding ourselves accountable to be around those ones we love and put the phones away and just enjoy those moments. But I did see a study. Most people will implement change if they have someone to hold them accountable. So one great thing about smartphones and apps and text messaging is you could text, if we hold each other accountable, I'll text you every morning. It's like, didn't go to Krispy Kreme, day 8. Right? Or whatever it is, right? It's like, okay, let's hold each other accountable. But your accountability partner gives you kind of tough love. They're close to you. They're going to hold your feet to the fire. so to speak.
Mhm.
And the stats are, if you have an idea or a goal, just having it, you're only 10% likely to achieve it. You consciously decide that you want to do it, right? You're like, okay, I'm gonna really think about this. It's in here, it's 25%. Deciding when you will do it is 40%. And then going the extra step of planning. So I can decide November 1st. I've decided, but I haven't planned it. So now if you plan it, you're halfway there.
So
You're
if I plan to
50%.
start working out January 1st of 2027,
I had to think about that one.
I'm only 50% there.
You're only 50% there, and 50% you're going to do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But committing to someone that you will do it is 65%. But the biggest one that gets you over the hump, having a specific accountability appointment with that someone that you're committing to.
Mm.
So if I'm like, I'm calling you every Saturday morning on what I did this week, and I'm going to I'm going to hold you
boring.
to I'm going to my Fitness Pal app. I'm going to share, because you can share that with your friends.
That's true.
So now you can lie and be like, well,
Right.
I didn't.
I did
Krispy
7
Kreme.
hours on the treadmill.
And not put all your meals in, you know?
But that's not being accountable.
It's not being accountable.
You gotta be honest.
And when it comes down to it, yeah, you can, because I've always like hidden when I eat and hidden like all this, especially during like depression, anxiety. Food was always that thing, you know, when I was little, and even recently, right? And it's like munching a little bit at night, and you're not hiding it when your body shows it.
Yeah.
Right? Like I can hide anything. I can hide a drive-through. I can hide a pizza, but my body's not going to hide it. And some people may, if they have a good metabolism. My clothes don't even hide it, right? Am I in danger of anything? No, but I'm personally not where I want to be.
Yeah.
And then you get so far down this rabbit hole. And I think this is where like people have problems with addiction. They just don't see a way out, so they keep doing it. And I think food addiction is a thing.
Yeah.
And the access and ability to fast food or packaged food. And I love my air fryer, but these last 3 or 4 weeks have been so busy. The next 2 or 3 weeks are going to be so busy. I've bought like pre-made packaged foods and not the healthy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, oh, this stir fry is all veggies. It's in a package. Like there's something.
Yeah. I mean, but it's better than eating a pizza.
It is, but I'm still not getting the results that way. So I'm still not holding myself accountable. And this is kind of where this is all coming from, because I'm like, oh, and I was having a conversation with a couple coworkers, and a lot of it comes back to budget. People see something on Amazon, or they see an extra book they want, or a car they want. You're not holding yourself accountable because those are wants, not needs. And you're still getting it like it's a need, or purchasing things, but it's a need.
Well, I think with personal accountability too, you've got to set like achievable goals. Like it won't help you any, Wes, to continue to like berate yourself in your internal monologue, like, God, you can't even do this right. When you've in my mind, what I'm hearing you say is, I want to completely change the way I eat every time. But it's like, okay, I want to eat well 2 nights a week. When you get really good at 2 nights a week, then maybe we can bump it up to 3. And maybe you're not the person who can eat. I'm not. I cannot eat healthy 7 nights a week.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we call it a cheat day. We call it whatever we want to call it, because it's almost like, I've done good, I deserve a donut, you know?
Sure.
So, but these smaller goals are the things that help you become more accountable. So, I mean, I should apply the same thing to myself, but I think you can be really hard on yourself for stuff like that when it's not a simple fix, but it doesn't mean you can't be accountable.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to learn it by, okay, I'm just going to eat one of those stir fry meals.
3 or 4. These are not big packages.
No way this feeds 4 people.
That too, like you're talking about clear goals and stuff. Then I think if you do it like 1 night a week and then 2 nights a week, you become fully engaged with it. You start learning about it.
Yeah.
And you make it, rather than an all or nothing ultimatum, you kind of take these slower steps to find meaning in what you're doing.
Yeah.
And because I'm an all or nothing guy, I live in excess, which is weird because I'm a very minimalistic person. I don't like to shop. I don't like, but if you're like, oh, we have all this to do, or we can go to eat. Oh, let's go to El Fuego.
Yeah.
Let's go get chips and queso. Oh, I love
Fuego, the
we should go
chorizo.
there tonight.
The chorizo. It's not accountable.
Yeah.
Well,
But one night's not going to kill you either. And yeah, that setting those clear goals. I'm not, and again, with work, I'm so good at it. I set those goals. I follow that budget. I set timelines. But in personal life, I don't know. Maybe it's like I do it so much at work for 40 hours. When I get home, I don't want to think. And that's a disservice to myself.
yeah, but remember what you said at the beginning,
No, what'd I say?
accountability.
I tune myself out usually.
Me too. You said about accountability is not a destination; it's a process. It's an
it's a
ongoing
form of
process, right?
travel.
So if you
That's good.
if you say I can't be accountable, or if we say we can't be accountable, well then no, you won't be. But like the act of being it's an ongoing. It's a verb that never ends. Like you just got
You
to
should
keep
declare it.
working on
Declare
accountability.
accountability.
You know what people do when I started diets, I have gutted the pantry, gutted the fridge, gone and spent $400 at Whole Foods on like bee pollen and raccoon urine. And I'm like, this is it. Like I'm about to turn up. And then 4 days later, I'm disappointed in myself because I've gotten Taco Bell on the way home because my car accidentally turned right into the Taco Bell parking lot.
Technology.
Yeah, but like it's just because you mess up, it's not a negative. It's not you don't punish yourself.
Yeah, work out of it.
Acknowledge it. Okay. How am I going to fix it?
How am I going to fix it? Yeah, and be engaging with that. And I think self-compassion is a good one here too. Is having that forgiveness for yourself if there is a mess up. God, I feel like it's an addiction talk kind of way.
Well, it is a little bit.
It might be for whatever it is. But when you face those challenges, there's also you have to see the positive light that for me, it's like I'll be able to run again. I make it sound like I can't run. I just like mentally don't want to run. It's like, okay, well, if I was fitter, I could wear the Lululemon. And then when I'm seen, that's my whole thing is I don't feel like I fit in with our culture. I don't feel like I fit in and then that takes me even farther down. So all of your advice really, really is helping quite a bit.
We've talked about personal and work stuff, but there's accountability in media. That's a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is, I don't know who holds who accountable in media. Like, I don't think there's an
That's a good debate.
It's like,
it's not Facebook, it's us.
Yeah.
Is it the companies at Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, all of that? Or is it the publisher, which would be us?
Yeah. So for example, a news organization puts out a story that they haven't verified if it's 100% true. Then the people who hear that story take the false information and develop their opinions and then react. Maybe it's rioting, maybe it's, anger or killing or whatever. But then it turns out the story was wrong. Well, where's the accountability in that? Like, media accountability is very important at this point in our lives because when I was growing up, if the Tennessean got the front page wrong, then the next day they would do a retraction. Right? I mean, we're sorry. We said there were 800 people at the game. There were only 750, period. Now, a news organization puts it on TikTok. 40 million people see it. The retraction maybe gets put up, but those 40 million don't see it. So now they've got all this information about something that's not there, and no one's held accountable for it.
Yeah.
So for me, with social media and media, like I've gotten to the point now where, I mean, even with what's going on in Israel, I will not comment on it.
No. Yeah.
I feel that I shouldn't comment on it because I don't understand it. You've got to understand the problem before you can comment and then hold others accountable for that kind of stuff. So anyway, I agree. I think media does a poor job.
But our friends over the Pew Research Center.
Here she goes.
Here goes Pew Research. They are such a great company. They did a study in 2020 and discovered that 58% of people thought the cancel culture era was a way to hold people accountable for their actions, while 38% found it as a way of punishing people who didn't deserve it. Insert Brittany Griner, Morgan Wallen,
tons of people,
Pride, and whatever we've talked and disagreed about. I am such an accountable holding people accountable for things I hold myself accountable for, if that makes sense, right? I'm not going to hold you accountable for working out because
Yeah.
that's not a priority for me, or it's not a whatever for me. But cancel culture, I don't think. I remember one time when we got in a heated debate, you're like, so you've done nothing wrong. So you've never published anything. And I'm like, no, I haven't. So I would hold a Morgan Wallen or a Brittany Griner because I've not done drugs in Ethiopia, or where Russia is where she was. I've not done that. So I'm going to hold her really accountable. And I know that's a fault of mine.
Yeah.
So, and I'm like, okay, she did not deserve 9 years. I think she got out in like a year or something. Which we didn't have that welcome party. Weren't we going to have a welcome party?
For
Or you
Brittany?
were?
Yeah.
And then I was going to come.
Yeah, you were gonna come. She was gonna chew you out because you told her she should have gone to jail
or
for
beat
life.
me up. Jail for life. No, I settled on like 9 months. But even the Morgan Wallen thing, I'm a huge fan of his, but he messed up, right? So to me, it is holding people accountable and be like, okay, you put it out there.
Yeah, I think for that kind of stuff, I'm finding it more difficult to hold people accountable for stuff that I haven't experienced. If if somebody if Brittany Griner gets caught with drugs in Russia, I don't who am I to hold her accountable for that? That's she's got to hold herself accountable. It's a personal accountability thing. Yes, Russia tried to hold her accountable in their version of things, but for me to judge it and be like, "Oh, she should have done this and she should be more
Right.
I'm
Right.
just like, but why? Why do I get to make a decision for this
Mhm.
person? So I don't know. I think the cancel culture thing's I don't know if I've seen it as much lately. I don't hear about it as much. It used to be like a year ago or 2 years ago.
It
It was
was.
violent.
Yeah,
I think there's so much other stuff going on right now. Um,
that's violent.
yeah,
That
very violent. But like Morgan Wallen, like, yes, he shouldn't have said the N word. Uh, Half the people that are screaming it have probably said it
Mhm.
or thought it or
True.
said part of it or said it NIGGA or something and said like, yes, he's made a mistake. Now, if he continues to say it and all that, that's another thing. He's not holding himself
Mhm.
accountable or all that. But I don't know. I just don't want to hold people accountable for stuff that I haven't.
That I was reading an article somewhere, and it was the point of the article was, why do we all have to have an opinion of something?
Mm.
And I thought of that, and I'm like, well, we have a podcast. We have to have opinions on something. But there's things where uh, somebody gets in trouble. Oh, what do you think of that? I don't. And a Morgan Wallen or a Brittany Griner could be it. I would have empathy for both. I always had empathy for her, and for him. But I wish our society was like, well, okay, and move on. Because if we don't drag it out and make it into something because of our own opinions, because of the way we were raised, or the church we went to, or the school we went to, or the parents we had, it'd be a better place than not having that opinion. And I don't know where I saw that article. I've been trying to read more, but it's like, in a way, think about it. It's like, if I don't have an opinion of it, I'm not going to get caught up in it. I'm not going to retweet it and say we were famous and 40 million people would saw our tweet. We would have saved a lot of
Well, but let
stuff.
me push back on that just a little bit. Like for me, I want people to have an opinion. I think it's on us to determine how we respond to that opinion because opinions, if people just don't have opinions on anything, it's a pretty basic ass society that we're living in.
Right.
So if you come to me and you're like, I think all gay people should, be moved to, Syria and put in camps. Inside, I'm boiling and seething. Like, but I want to learn how to say, okay,
Well,
you can have that
and
opinion,
maybe that's what the article was about, because obviously we're all going to have an opinion and a thought, but it's like,
but how do we
where do you
respond to that
bite it?
opinion?
Right. If there's so many people that still accept me, but their opinion of pride kind of makes me boil. And I'm like, okay, like, no, that's your opinion, and that's great. I don't know if they're trying to get a rise out of me, but we're all only in control of ourselves.
Mhm.
So it's where you could have a great conversation of, oh, this is why you wouldn't want to put all gays in Syria and whatnot. Talk at all the benefits of diversity and everything. So maybe that article, and now I'm thinking about it, like maybe that is about how we respond.
Yeah.
Because, going back to, um, the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, back when everybody got a paper every day of the week, or the Sunday paper, right? Like, we read it. I feel that there was probably always false information there, and no one had the lame excuse of it's all the media and the media sucks that Trump threw out there, because that's just wrong. Those people are journalists. They have an education. They are actually up at 3 a.m. writing stories. And then Joe Bob sitting on his couch being like, I hate the media because Trump said so.
Yeah.
There's always been false stuff in media, and that's always going to happen. We're human. But it's like having that empathy a little bit and be like, okay, I'm going to read this story. But again, personal responsibility is don't retweet something. Like
And
process
right.
it, or write something about it. Write your own dialogue as equally as long, rather than Biden sucks, Trump sucks, I hate America, I hate Canada. I mean, that's easy.
Yeah.
That's a cop out. That's laziness.
Well, and I mean, to kind of sum all this up too, as we get closer to the end of time, we went off on accountability, didn't we?
I think it all ties in.
Yeah.
I was accountable.
No, I agree. But my point is, like, taking what I can take from this, like, being accountable is a continual process that we've got to continue to work on, but you got to make it work for you. There's not like a map where it's like, these are the 4 things that are going to make you accountable. Like, for you, maybe it's the short-term goals, for me, it's probably an accountability partner, making sure that that I can check in with somebody, or somebody checks in with me.
You can text me anytime after.
I'll be like, I'm at the gym. They're like, can I take your order, please? Like, well, that was Mexican pizza.
Welcome to Cookout.
Oh, I'm working out at Cookout now.
But blame doesn't solve problems. It just creates a negative narrative and a negative culture. And yeah, I think it's putting all these little things in place over time. And our buddy Tyler, who was on, I think, the beginning of season 2, said, be 1% better every day.
Yeah.
It's not this all or nothing. It's be that 1% better every day. Blame doesn't solve problems. Excuses sure as heck doesn't solve problems.
Well,
and you can get to where you're going if you plan it out. Same with a budget. If you don't write it down, it will not happen. It just ain't going to do it.
Well, and accountability helps you to keep from making bad decisions. It gives you confidence. Like, there's nothing negative that comes out of being accountable. It's one of those things that, like, if you are accountable, it's a positive. Everything's positive.
Yeah.
I mean, not everything in your life, but like everything about accountability is positive.
Right.
It's not a punishment. If you hold somebody accountable, you're not punishing them.
You're making them better.
You're helping them to see the responsibilities they have and all that. So,
yeah, I love.
Guess we got to work on.
I just got to be better myself.
Well,
I love helping other people achieve more things than
myself. I think that happens a lot where I will force people to exercise. I will scream at them. I will put electrical pads on their body and shock them violently to get them to where they need to be. But I will be first in line at the Taco Bell drive-thru. I will skip yoga. I will. So it's like I'm the same way.
Yoga.
Yeah.
Namaste.
I love
you. We should go to yoga class one time and film it.
Film it. No, no, we're not filming it.
To do like a Instagram thing to inspire people.
I'm sure they'd be like, look at these 2 fools. Philip can't even touch his toes anymore.
Oh, I definitely can. Who wants
you
to go
can
to
touch my toes.
Touching toes. I've never been able to do that.
All right. Well, babe, we got to work on being more accountable.
Hey, I'm glad we talked about it. And I'm glad you had a moment with that gentleman at the Skirmerhorn.
Yeah.
Symphony Center.
It was really sweet. I appreciate those moments.
I think those moments in life, we have to capture those. And those are moments where the phone's down, we're interacting with the stranger, and so much joy can come from that. And what can lead from that, even in his world and your world.
Yeah.
There's so many great things that could.
And speaking of patients, I was talking to a patient today. They're like, what are you doing tonight? I said, I'm recording an episode of my podcast, and told them what it was about. And every time I mention between the gay and straight community, they always go, oh, I'll have to give it a listen. And they said, what are you talking about tonight? And I was like, well, we're talking about accountability. She goes, oh, well, that's wonderful. I said, what do you think about accountability? And she goes, I've always thought accountability is the ability to be accountable. And then she just walked off, and I sat there and I was like, is that brilliant or is that the dumbest thing I've ever heard?
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where it's like, it's just, let me switch the words around and let them ponder.
I was like, not a lot of people know what accountability is. I didn't all the way. So
there is a person in my industry that we were talking at an event recently, and I'll see him every now and then. I know his first name and I don't even know his last name. But anyway, he's like, oh yeah, I heard you had a podcast. What's it about? And he had that same reaction. He's like, huh. And I see him now and he doesn't talk.
You should go back and be like, we've started another podcast where we're burning that bridge between the gay and straight community. We're bombing it.
Okay.
Yeah, people don't know what to
if
say.
he listens, he's going to be gay or something.
Right.
You know,
all we're doing is just talking about sex we've had with people. Here, let's watch a porn.
Episode 900. We're yeah, it's quite interesting. I noticed that a couple events ago, and I'm like, oh, and it could be something else. It could be because I ramble and we'll talk someone's ear off. But I'm blaming the podcast. Literally after I told him, not blaming the podcast. I love what we're doing, but you know. But some people just can't handle fabulousness.
Amen.
Well, this was great. I'm ready for some cookout. Do they have kale? Maybe a kale quesadilla?
Shut up.
Probably not. Okay, I'm gonna go.
Kidding me? No, ma'am. All right, babe.
God bless you, Phil.
Hey, next week, don't we have? Is next week our Halloween special? No, I just blew that.
No, that was
I'll take that back. Delete that.
Last week. I don't know what week we're on.
Yeah, I get confused. Anyway, hope y'all had a good Halloween.
Yeah. We'll have a Halloween wrap up here in a couple weeks. I gotta know what you've done for Halloween.
Oh, yeah, because I got to talk about all the decorations, Miss Elena.
I thought I was walking into emergency.
Oh, we've got hands coming out of the planters and anyway, all right, guys. Well, we hope y'all have a good week. If you got any comments, questions, concerns, if you want to be held accountable, if you want Wes to be your accountability partner, I'm not going to do it. I don't want to hold myself to that.
DM. You know, I was so accountable with like liquor. I just passed my 2-year mark with not getting drunk, and I'm like, how is that so easy? I mean, there were challenging times for mentally challenging times, but I'm like, why can't I do that with other things? And that kind of goes back to it all.
I think that's not to get too deep because we only got a few minutes, but like that affected you on a much deeper level than like there was a moment I think where you were like, I am at a point where, and I'm not saying you were in the darkest parts, but like being an alcoholic or close to an alcoholic or not controlling your alcohol, it's way different than like being accountable for like being on time.
Yeah.
You know, so
true.
Ultimately, I'm saying,
don't
be too hard on yourself about that one because it's not the same thing. So anyway,
there we go.
All right, babe. Have a good week.
And if y'all, hey, I want to see a review that says shan't and wilt a little bit more. So Clay, you've started something, buddy.
Yeah, wilt is not a word.
I wilt. I'll think of some.
Is it WILL''NT?
N apostrophe T. Like
WILLN apostrophe T.
So maybe we can look that word up.
There's no need. I can assure you.
Don't is a word. So wilt should be a word. And shan't. Way to go, Clay. I think we're on the same wavelength.
What is shall not? Is that shall not?
Shan't. Shall not. Yeah.
Should be shalt. I mean, if we're going along with your wilt.
So I would love some more reviews like that. I love it. Thank you all so much. And while you're looking that word up, let's take her on home to be accountable. And
it's not a word, but Will T Seafood popped up. So
who?
Some restaurant called Will T Seafood.
Well,
wilt is not a word.
It won't be correct.
It shan't happen. All right, guys. Y'all have a good week. We've been literally signing off for 4 hours.
All right,
guys. Bye.
Later.
Thanks for listening to another great episode of Two Bottles Deep.
Don't forget to give us a 5-star rating wherever you get your podcast.
And while you're at it, write us a fabulous review.
Please reach out to us on our email, twobottlesdeep@gmail.com.
There is plenty of love in this world. Be a part of it.